Now we're going to improve our list item and give it the ability to respond to swipes. So if we swipe left here, we should see a red box with an icon for deleting this message. To do that, we go to docs.expo.io. Let's look at the API reference. Here on the left, we have gesture handler. So we're going to use a library for handling gestures. Now look at the installation. Here we have Expo install React Native gesture handler. So this is the library we're going to install, but we're going to install it with Expo instead of NPM. The difference is that when we use Expo, Expo makes sure that this library is compatible with the version of Expo we are using. So if you're using a library that is part of Expo ecosystem, it's better to install it with Expo. Under the hood, Expo uses NPM or Yarn to install that library. So here on the left, you can see all the libraries that are part of Expo ecosystem. For any of these, we're going to install them using Expo. So let's copy this line and paste it in our terminal window. Okay, this library is installed. Now let's have a quick look at the documentation. So on this page, you can see a link to React Native Gesture Handler docs. So let's read the docs. Here on the left, you can see we have various gesture handlers. So we can handle pans, taps, long presses, rotations, flinks, and so on. In this lesson, we're going to use this component, swipeable. This makes it incredibly easy to implement swipeable rows. So we can swipe to left or to right. It's very easy. Now let's have a quick look at how we should import this component. So we import swipeable from React Native Gesture Handler /swipeable. So I'm going to copy this line. Now here in list item.js, let's import this component on the top. Good. Now we should wrap our list item with the swipeable component. It's very easy. So we add swipeable here. Now, here we should set a prop called render right actions. We also have render left actions. In this video, we're going to use render right actions. So these are the actions we're going to show on the right side of our list item. So if we swipe to left, these actions will appear on the right side of the list item. Okay. So render right actions. Now here we should pass a function for rendering these right actions, but we're not going to implement that function here because we want our list item to be reusable. So what we show here will vary from one context to another. So we should let the consumer of our list item determine what should appear when we swipe left. So I'm going to add another prop here, render right actions, and then pass it over here. Okay, save the changes. Now we go to our messages screen. This is where we're using our list item. So here I'm going to set render right actions to a function for rendering a basic view. I just want to make sure that swiping works. So here we pass an arrow function to render a view with a bunch of inline styles. Again, this is just a temporary solution. Next, we're going to extract this view and put it in a reusable component. So here we're going to set a couple of properties. Background color should be red and width should be 70 pixels. Save. So we set render right actions to a function that returns a view. Okay, let's test our implementation. So now we swipe to left. Here's our red box, beautiful. Now we want to extract this into a reusable component because somewhere else we might have a list of items. We don't want to repeat all this code to render this red box. So here in our project, in the components folder, let's add a new component called list item delete action.js. So we implement a function component. Now here we want to return a view. Let's give it a bunch of styles. So we import the style sheet module on the top and then use it over here. Let's add a key called container. Here we set background color to, I don't want to use the red I showed you because that's very strong. So let's go to our color palette and introduce a new color called danger. We set this to FF5252. This is a different shade of red that is not too strong. So save. Now let's import our color palette. So import colors from, we go up to config/colors. And then we set background color to colors the danger. Next, we set the width to 70 pixels. And then we apply our styles over here. Styles.container. So now we have a reusable component. Let's use it on our messages screen. So here, I'm going to replace this function with the component that we just created. So delete. Here we pass list item, delete action. Note that I'm not rendering a component like this. I'm simply passing a reference to this function, to our function component, okay? So save the changes. Let's test our implementation. Okay, beautiful. Now let's add an icon here. So we go to list item, delete action. Inside this view, we want to add an icon. So on the top, I'm going to import from @expo/vector-icons. I'm going to import material community icons and then use it over here. So material community icons, I'm going to render a trash can with a size of 35 pixels. And I'm going to set the color to colors.white. Save. Now, let's reload our app. Okay, we have the icon, but we should put it in the center of the red box. So here's our container. We set justify content and align items to center. Okay, let's test it one more time. So we reload. And everything is working beautifully. So next we're going to implement deleting an item.